Please read the disclaimer. Holy smokus, it ain't no jokus, XRP holders. The crypto market is heating up, sort of. Altcoins are hot, but Bitcoin and Ethereum are kind of mid. Is Elon Musk doing this with crypto or not doing this with crypto? There's a lot of conflicted reporting going out there. I got the exact scoop from Twitter management, so we'll get that exactly what's happening there. All I ask from you is that you give me a beautiful smile to send out those good vibes. Smishity smash that like a button because Sunday likes are for free. Don't say I didn't tell you about that special promotion that's going on right now. Currently, XRP is at $1.62. Very nice price action here for XRP, up 7.5% from GMT time, but it's up a lot more from Saturday morning or even earlier than that. XRP is up already 15% in the last day, 26 hours or 27 hours. XRP had broken out. It was interesting because we were talking about the double bottom that we were seeing here, right? And it actually turned into maybe a support zone at 134 once it was able to cross over here on the 1348 EMA, right? You can remember, you can get that indicator. If you sign up at my website, you can get the indicator. And it broke out here. And since the breakout, you can see here, XRP has done a 18% movement in that time frame since we had that breakout on the 1348 EMA. But not only that, we also got a breakout on the 4-hour chart as well. And it's not just XRP, which is already up about 8% right now when I'm recording. But yesterday, a lot of meme coins, a lot of altcoins, Pepe was up big, as you can see. But not just Pepe, there was a lot of movements. Doge was up big. You can see also Doge had that crossover here on the 4-hour chart, up about 20% in the last 20 hours. And yet Bitcoin is not really moving, right? And Ethereum, not really moving. Solana a little bit, but not too much, right? Not too much, about 6%. So like if you look year to date, Solana's down 27, Ethereum 29, Bitcoin 20, XRP, right? Only 11 already, right? And it's continuing to pump right now as I'm speaking. It just broke that resistance level here. So you remember we were talking about how all the technicals, only some of them started flipping. Remember we talked about that? Well, now some of them have flipped, not everyone, right? But we already have the shorter time frames that XRP is already flipping on those time frames, and all the oscillators flipped to neutral, and we got 2 buy on shorter time frames, momentum, which is 10 days, and MACD, which is 12 and 26. So we're already seeing a flip. You remember how I told you it's very fast. You go from strong sell to suddenly neutral, and then the market flips. And what's happening? Do you see what I was talking about, right? This zone, this yellow circle, I circled right here. You can see that as soon as we hit that range, what happened? XRP started moving fast. Remember, it's up 6 or 7% since we entered that range. Why? Because that was the zone where there were still a lot of shorts and they were still in profit. And as soon as we got to that area and we were able to break that resistance that was right there, XRP started moving to the upside. Whereas you see right now, XRP is probably the biggest mover of the hour, almost. XRP and Pi, which has been decimated, but actually is also having a good day today, over the past few days, right? It's also up a lot. So these assets that were maybe forgotten or pushed down 50% in 2 days, they are now suddenly started moving. And these are similar signs to what we saw at the beginning of the year. I don't want to, get ahead of myself a little bit, but these are good signs. And if we go to the fear and greed index, we're still at extreme fear. We're still at 1 digit, right? So is the money coming in? Remember, we talked about this on Friday morning when we have a CPI, a good CPI print, and then we get lower than expected. We have a nice movement on Friday, and then the weekend flow continued short squeeze as traders FOMO in before Monday or Tuesday. Well, they're FOMOing in to altcoins. They're not FOMOing in, interestingly, to Bitcoin and Ethereum, which are, some might say, maybe more ETF manipulated nowadays. And so the money is not going there, which is very interesting. They're both kind of stuck. Like if you look at the price action, there's not a lot going on here. Whereas if you look at Solana, which is a little bit better, or XRP, is doing much, much better, right? And so even with that, though, Bitcoin dominance is still at 58. So yesterday, we did see altcoins dominate. So you can see this fall off here on the Bitcoin dominates Saturday morning into Saturday evening, Valentine's Day. Hopefully you had a nice time. I don't celebrate Valentine's Day, by the way. It's right before my wife's birthday. And here we have also a second, like, it's called Love Day. So I told her we can only celebrate one, and your birthday is like a few days before Valentine's Day. So we celebrate the one in the summer, right? And it's better weather also. So it will be very interesting to see what happens with XRP. There's some headlines here regarding XRP, by the way, that have helped fuel the price action here, which is also very, very interesting. Now, again, I've been talking about this over the past few days. XRP is already up about 60% from the low, somewhere around that. So people that were not, freaking out on the fear are already up 45%. Sorry, about 45% from the low, right? 45% is not too shabby, right? So this is a very interesting situation right now with XRP. It's basically closed all of the gap, all of the sell-off that happened Wednesday and Thursday back last week. So it's all gone. It's been eaten up. V-shaped recovery here for XRP. Very, very nice action. Very, 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 very nice action here to all the people that were freaking out. This is the answer to them, right? This is experience. We learn from every single experience. Now, were you trading the dip, right? Our partner BTCC is still giving out that 30% deposit bonus. If you're interested, link is in the description down below. You sign up using my link, and you go here and you enter your stuff here, and then you can sign up and you can get that 30% bonus. I know it doesn't say here 30%, but they assured me that it's 30%. And then you can start trading. I will get a commission, so thank you for that. But again, please, please, please trade responsibly. Very, very important. Okay. Now let's move on to some more news. Altcoins may have already bottomed against Bitcoin. After 12 months of downside, broken charts, and collapsing sentiment, the structure under the altcoin market is starting to shift. The others dominance chart, which tracks how altcoins perform relative to Bitcoin, is flashing early signs of recovery. Others dominance has already reclaimed the levels we saw before October 10 crash, but Bitcoin is still trading roughly 42% below its high from that same period. So while Bitcoin is structurally still weak, altcoins are already stabilizing and gaining relative strength. If alts were still a heavy distribution, dominance would keep falling, but it is instead. It has risen 17% in just the last 2 months, which means forced selling phase in alts may already be behind us. And so this is very, very interesting. We saw a similar setup in 2019 to 2020. When the Fed ended QE, Bitcoin continued correcting for months, but others' dominance bottomed and never resisted those lows again, not even during the March 2020 crash. That marked the start of a multi-year alt uptrend. Now add more bullish signals on top, RSI and other dominance have crossed above its moving average for the first time since July of 2023. Historically, this crossover has preceded alt strength phases. Also, we have Russell 2000 that just broke its highs after delayed cycle. Small caps often lead liquidity rotation before altcoins move. And of course, we have the ISM that we talked about, climbed over 52, highest in 40 months, above the 55, historically aligns with strong performance in high beta asset like alts. Core inflation on Friday, we just got a 5-year low, which could increase the odds of more Fed easing. And so this is all fueling to a situation where we are potentially going to see a flippening, and we're seeing altcoins start heat up a little bit. And so this is going to be very, very interesting here for XRP and for the crypto market. And you can see it says here, XRP update sparks bullish speculation. Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse reiterated Ripple's mission to drive XRP adoption and expand its ecosystem, fueling renewed optimism. Some market commenters called the update as a boom shakalaka for XRP's outlook. We'll see what will potentially happen with that. We talked about that already, but it's, the rounds are happening and it looks like we're getting a mini short squeeze a little bit. Although if we go to the coin glass here over the last hour, about 3 million in shorts are getting liquidated. So you can see also on Solana moving also not as much. So interesting. So it's a combination of shorts and buying, right? If we go and we zoom out a little bit on the last 24 hours, where is it? Where is it? Here, last 24 hours. You see a lot of it is shorts from Bitcoin and Ethereum, and XRP is down there, only 13 million on the short. What does that tell us? That a lot of what's going on is actually the fact that people are buying. So there's some short squeeze, but there's also some XRP buying here as well. As always, I just want to remind you that this video is for educational purposes, for entertainment purposes only, not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence before you decide to invest. Very, very important. So this was interesting. There was also news that was out that talking about how SBI from Japan had 10 billion worth of XRP. And their CEO came out and said, not 10 billion in XRP, but around 9% of Ripple Lab. So our hidden asset could be much bigger, right? It's the headline here said that they have 10 billion in XRP, which is not correct. So again, there's many times you'll see information. We'll get to the information about Elon Musk and Twitter in just a second. But I like to wait a little bit on the information because sometimes an hour or two later, you get an update. Oh, this is not exact. This is not exactly what's happening. And that's why it's also important to not just watch me, right? I know you're watching me right now, and I really appreciate it, but it's also important to watch other people. Why? Because last night, for example, someone saw that headline about Elon Musk, put out a video, and then it's out there, right? But we have a correction on that. So maybe someone, made their decision on that headline and they didn't double check or they didn't wait a little bit. And so sometimes we have to be very careful, but it is what it is, and it's part of the internet and it's part of how things are happening today. So I like to wait a little bit and double check things. Sometimes I fall on that as well, but I try to be the best I can with that. So again, he said that they own about 9% of Ripple Labs. So Ripple owns a significant amount of XRP, and he says the hidden value could be much bigger. What does he mean by that? That potentially if XRP goes up in price, then their valuation could be a lot more than 10 billion. Right now, the valuations for Ripple is about 50, 60 billion. So that would give them about 6 billion worth, not 10 billion. So, it's a very big position, and it will be interesting to see what happens here. And XRP continues to rise as we speak. Very, very nice. You remember a few days ago, I told you I don't really care what the level is and where we at, because I've been around the bush a few times, right? I've seen these things happen. I've seen the market freak out with no really bad news and things like that. And, we recovered. We're even at a higher value than we were, that we like there's a big gap here, right? So it will be very interesting to see what happens with XRP and in the next 24 hours or so. Very, very interesting situation right now that is happening for XRP. I need a sip of coffee. My voice was crackling a little bit. While I was sipping the coffee, if you haven't yet smashed the like button, I really appreciate you doing that. It's one of the easiest things you can do to support the channel. And then it knows, it makes the algorithm know that you like XRP and XRP content. Someone was like, why am I not getting notifications about your videos? So if you're subscribed to the channel, make sure that you have all notifications clicked on, so you get a notification when a new video drops. And so you don't miss out on any news or anything that's happening. And, you get to joining me every single day and have these conversations. So there was a headline that came out earlier yesterday, and I'm going to start with the initial headline, right? We talked about this in the past, that was potentially going to be a trading on X, right? And this was from Nikita, and he is I think he's we can open his Twitter account. He's one of the top people at head of product, right, at X. And he said, right? That it says here, breaking X to offer crypto and Bitcoin trading to its 1+ billion users within weeks. Confirmed smart cash tags are launching within weeks, letting user trade stocks and crypto directly from the timeline. Users will be able to tap the ticker, right? Okay, so that is not true. That's not exactly. Update, X will not offer crypto and Bitcoin trading directly to its users. Here, the head of X product has clarified that the platform will not handle trade executions or act as brokerage. Instead, X is building a smart cash tags financial data tool that lets users view live prices, charts, and asset information directly from the timeline. Any buy sell actions will redirect users to external brokerages or exchange partners for executions. So it's not, they're not going to be transacting, so they don't have the license for creating transactions, or they don't want to even hold the assets and take the fee for the transactions. They're going to leave it to the exchanges. They'll partner with someone, probably they'll take a kickback or something. They'll want to make money from this, right? Elon will want to make money, but they're not going to do the exact the actual transaction. Also, there's going to be advertising, and people will be potentially on X more. And so this is just something that we need to be careful. Again, they're not directly going to be offering trading, but they are going to have a more extensive crypto data on X that will give users potentially information that they will need for trading, and they will redirect to a third-party website in order to transact in that trading. So that is basically what X is going to be doing, and this is going to open up potentially a significant amount of new users to crypto. And so potentially you'll have these kinds of things pop up for people on the timeline. If something, for example, is very popular, let's say XRP is very popular right now, and a lot of people are talking about XRP, or hashtagging it, right, or smart hashtagging it, cash tagging it. And so maybe that will pop up on new users that maybe then get interested in crypto. So this could be good for the crypto market. Is it really game changing? We'll have to see about that. We'll see about that in the future. XRP spot ETF see 3.3 million XRP net inflows. Total XRP spot ETF inflows reached 3.3 million XRP on February 13th, where Franklin Templeton's XRPZ led the way. And so the XRP ETFs continue to show nice volumes and nice action, and we are still waiting for BlackRock. BlackRock to come and join the party. So it will be very interesting to see what is the price action here today on Sunday. We have to remember, right? It is Sunday. Wait, what was the last thing? Oh, before we go to Sunday, about number 5 on the country list on my viewership is the Netherlands. It's about 2% of the viewership, but still, there are some of you. So there's a new change there in the Netherlands, and they announced a 36% tax on unrealized capital gains. Let me know, is this true? It's kind of crazy, right? Unrealized. The rule applies to stocks, ETFs, savings, and crypto. Each year, the government looks at how much your portfolio value increased in taxes. That gains 36%. How this would work: if someone invests 100,000 a year and they have 140, they owe 40,000 profit, even if they didn't sell. After the 1,800 tax-free threshold, the taxable gain becomes 38,200 at 36%, even though no cash was taken out of the market. Is this true? This is kind of crazy. Let me know in the comment section, because people have talked about this potentially. It still requires the Senate approval before it becoming a law. But what do you think about this? All the people from the Netherlands, losses can be carried forward to offset future gains, but no refunds are issued on prior years' unrealized gains. This is very, very aggressive. Are you Netherlands is one of the best countries to live, according to some people, and according to a friend of mine that used to live there. What do you think, people of the Netherlands, if this catches on and if this goes through, do you think more countries will do this? Are you planning to run away from the Netherlands, even though it's one of the best countries out there to live? Let me know in the comment section down below. Okay, so now to Sunday fun day. Sunday is a very tricky day. Low liquidity, low volumes. Sometimes Sunday movements get eaten up by Monday morning. And it is President's Day tomorrow, so there's no trading on the stock market. It could be very volatile. And by tomorrow morning, all this 10% movement that we've seen here, or under 10% movement here for XRP, could be gone. So just be careful out there. If you are day trading, the things can move very, very fast. Be careful. And remember that Sundays are very tricky. Okay. From my experience, you can, look so great, 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 great. And by the end of the day, all the profit is gone, or you're even in the red, or you get liquidated. So just be very careful out there. But things are looking good. The crypto market is recovering. Even though sentiment is actually still pretty low, I think that is because Bitcoin and Ethereum are stuck a little bit price action wise. And I think people are still fearful on the current situation in the market, still fearful about the Clarity Act. And so I think that's weighing down a little bit on the market, but we'll see. Altcoins started moving yesterday. Today, they slowed down a little bit for the most part. Pepe and meme coins that were moving yesterday have kind of slowed down a little bit, Doge and SHIB. But it will be very interesting to see what happens here with XRP today, that is recovering a lot, and it's already at higher levels than it was. It's back to where it was on last Monday. So, it's eaten up all of that crazy sell-off, and it's now back where we were. Crazy, crazy, right? It's very, 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 very nice movement here for XRP. Let me know in the comment section, what do you think? Are you optimistic? Is this just a small recovery, or is this actually a true recovery, right? Or is it a bull trap, or is this an actual recovery? Let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you next time. Check out BTCC if you're interested in trading. And like I always say, let's make a lot of money.